Yeah, I think we're live.
I think we're live too.
Can you see comments?
Yes. Yes, I can. Oh, there's Zephyr. Zephyr's here. So, and we're on your Baron channel?
That's right. He's got two channels.
Okay.
He had one channel originally, and the trolls reported him one summer, I think it was 2022, and they got him demonetized. So he set up a second channel, got that monetized. Then the next year, he got them both back monetized. The next year, they got the other one taken down. So he would just flick between the two, and it seemed to be on the same date every year. So now he has two monetized channels, and basically this one my daughter has kind of taken over, and the other one Benji runs, because
I just I heard Faith on Candor's live. She has the most beautiful voice I've ever heard.
It's a very unusual voice. I was talking to her about it before. From when she was little, she's always sounded like Joan Greenwood. I don't know if oh, she's here.
Yeah, she is. Does she sing? Does she sing?
Not that I know of.
She has an amazing voice. It's so beautiful. And
the other one is Fenella Fielding. Do you remember Fenella Fielding?
I don't know Fenella Fielding.
She was in there were Carry On films. They were really famous. And there was one called Carry On Screaming, and she was very glamorous in a red velvet outfit. And they both had really unusual, sort of low, gravelly voices. They were both famous for their voices. And I've said to her, loads of people have said she should do voiceover work.
Yeah.
Do you want to come up, Faith? Shall I send you the link?
I think, Jackie Kennedy said, if you bungle your children, you've pretty much bungled your whole life. And I think you have two lovely children. You have done a great job.
Thank you. They're both, I mean, neither of them, they take everything in their stride, pretty much.
Your Ben and my Angus have the same sunglasses. I cracked up when I saw him with them the other day. I go, oh, Angus has those crazy sunglasses.
So many people have commented and said that that's exactly how they are with their son. So we're obviously a very, very typical type of family, because loads of people say, oh, your Ben reminds me of my son. That's exactly how my son speaks to me. Knows that they know everything.
So my son is an extraordinarily talented musician. His father's from Peterhead, Scotland. And he was a musician. He came over with a band called APB, came over to America, and then never left when he was 21. And he gets a lot of his talent from his father. He gets some of his talent from me. But he's in a professional group. He's gone every weekend. And then with the high school group, he's rehearsing like 4 days a week. So we never see him. The only way we know he was here is the refrigerator's empty and my wallet is empty. But we call him Serge from Absolutely Fabulous. Like every time we do a family event, they're like, where's Angus? And I'm like, he's taking samples at the volcano. He's on Mount Everest. He's never here. And it's pretty wild. We were having a discussion and somebody said we are the only species that keeps their young for such a long time. And not counting like herd animals, that kind of thing. And like we get influence over our children until they're about 16 now. And then at 16, they kind of go off and start doing their own thing. So I'm at that point now with my son where he's kind of feeling his adulthood. Hi, Faith.
Hi.
How are you, darling?
I'm okay. And no, I don't sing.
You don't?
No, because every song that I listen to is high-pitched, and I just cannot do it.
Huh. Try blues.
It's
other directions.
Yeah, I only listen to either high-pitched things, or it's like partially metal screaming, and I can't do either of them.
So I think her taste in music is horrible.
So is yours, Mother.
No, it's not. Mine is very mainstream, so
That's
I know
because
I'm in the
yours.
majority.
You like
but
it.
your music, the music you listen to, it just sounds awful.
The music I listen to is unique. You're just basic. You're
Palais Royale. Is anybody familiar with Palais Royale?
I am.
Well, obviously you are. That's why I'm
Exactly.
naming them.
Or Lindsay Sterling, who has like 4 million.
Lindsay Sterling is a violinist. I don't think she sings.
She got into singing recently, about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, Lindsay Sterling's music is okay, but I mean, a lot of the music you listen to, I just think is ghastly.
You're welcome.
No problem.
My daughter has my taste in music, and my son listens to all the new stuff. And one day he was in the car and he was flipping through something, and like Flow Rider came on. I'm like, oh, leave that on. Like, I love Flow Rider. Let's go. We're going back to club days. And he's like, Mom, this is my 90s basic BITCH mix. I was like, well, I guess that's me. It's like, let it ride. I was like all Lady Gaga. I was like, oh, this is so funny. I was like, this is everything I used to listen to, right up until before I had you guys, before I got uncool. So,
Nuz, you should probably post this live in your post area on your other channel so people know.
Well, I'm thinking I might go live on my channel as well later.
Well, yeah, but if you want to post a link to this one in your community area, then people can see it.
So,
later.
Annabelle, how did you get into tarot reading?
So, all right. So, starting at the beginning, I think that everybody has the ability to be psychic. Everybody can cultivate and teach themselves how to use some kind of psychic technique. And some people are more geared up for it. Like, and I always tell my students, it's kind of like gymnastics. So some people are really good at gymnastics just naturally. They're just kind of flippy and stretchy. And then within that, some people are really good at the uneven bars. Some people are good at the floor. Some people are good at the beam. So there's different things that you can do. My mother is profoundly psychic and will not admit it. It scares her skinny. She won't admit it. She saw her first ghost when she went to Scotland with my dad. And there was a man standing over her, and she thought it was one of the workers in the hotel. And she went, oh, and sat up, and he disappeared. And she was like, it was really freaky. And I was like, well, there's ghosts around your house too. And she's like, no, there's not. No, there's not. So when I was 10 years old, I was very close with my grandfather. And when I was 10 years old, he passed away. And he showed up after he passed away. And he was at the foot of my bed, and he shook my foot and woke me up. Like, I literally had my foot shaken. And after that, he was just kind of told me everything was going to be okay. And then after that, I had what's called precognition. And everybody has experienced this, where you go, oh, I should call my girlfriend Jane. And then the phone rings and it's Jane on the phone. You're like, I was just going to call you. Or you say, oh, I really need to get milk. And one of the kids or your spouse brings home milk. Like, that precognition happens to everybody. And you can tap into it for like exams and things like that. So there's practical purposes for this. So when I was, I kind of stumbled along with that. And I was always interested in like spooky movies and that sort of thing. And then when I was 17, my boyfriend at the time, his mom was a psychotherapist and a former nurse. And she did some alternate therapies, had some alternate resources that she could send her clients to. And she noticed, and she goes, you need to kind of reel that in. And she goes, because it'll get complicated for you later. And she put me in touch with this woman, Flo Higgins, who was an astrologer and a psychic and tarot reader. She did all those things. And Flo kind of guided me for about 6 months, very, very gentle kind of teaching. But a lot of the time, like when you're a psychic, like you can take classes. I teach psychics all the time. Like I mentor and I teach them all the time. I have a digital academy. But a lot of your learning comes from your books. I am in the last couple of years starting to collect some out of print books, which are pretty cool because there's some interesting information about how to be psychic, what psychic means, what seances and things like that from the turn of the century, from the Victorian age. when it was kind of a popular thing for people to do. So I in the last 5 years have gotten more involved in something called coordinate remote viewing or controlled remote viewing, which is a military practice. It's a very specific reporting format. And essentially all of the tools, tarot cards, writing down, automatic writing, all of that. It's a logical task that your logical mind gets busy doing so that your psychic mind can start to produce some images, sounds, voices, scents, things like that. And so some people are really good. Like some people will be very clairaudient. They'll hear things. They'll hear the sound of a crowd, or dogs barking, or music. Music is a big one. My girlfriend Alicia Wicker, she's another content creator on YouTube. She's fantastic. She's the one who encouraged me to start my channel. Her and I are both very clairaudient, and that we would hear songs, and so you have to interpret the song. It's not,
I get that a lot.
Yeah,
all of those things that you say. I used to play with tarot cards a lot when I was younger. I had about 40 packs, and they're not cheap. They're expensive. But I got really obsessed with it, where I was asking the cards, for all sorts of everyday decisions. So I just threw them away. But I've never really lost. I know what you mean when you hear a piece of music going around in your head. Faith and I have had that recently, both of us. And I mean, I've had that loads of times over the years. Faith has tarot cards.
Ooh, Faith.
I can't remember where they are, actually. I think they might still be on the boat.
I'm not sure if you've ever really got into them. It was more rune stones you were really into at one point, wasn't it?
Oh.
I mean, majority of mine is just using crystals. So I like shiny things.
So, Faith, that's like, so my husband's like crystal schmistles, but he's a little hard to convince, but the crystals, like when you think about it, we use them in our watches, we use them in computers. They are storing information. So why does this not count for the great unwashed? Like, why don't they understand that this retains some kind of memory, works as a conduit? They do conduct electricity. So with crystals, I absolutely believe in it. One of the things that I do with this particular one, this is a wand. I bought this from Alicia. She also sells crystals and does all kinds of cool stuff on her website. With remote viewing, with a coordinate remote viewing, you do a lot of sketching and you do a lot of writing, and you use your pen to touch the drawing and see if you get more information, like maybe you get a color or temperature or something like that. So I said to Alicia, I wonder if we could use your crystal wands with tarot readings and get more information. Sure enough, we do. Both of us use them in our readings on our channel. So it's you always learn new stuff. So what do you do with your crystals? Do you do healings? Do you just do energy reordering? What do you do with them?
They sit on my shelf until I need them for specific things.
Yeah, I have a bunch scattered on my desk. I use some for cleaning out the cards or cleaning out the space, that kind of thing. Yeah. But so do you use them for like kind of second sight and like forecasting and things like that?
No, I mean, it's mainly if I want something very specific, I'll use them for that. I haven't used them in a while, and I brought them over the other day from the boat because I found them. They were in Mum's room. I'd forgotten where they were because I was talking about them the other week. I was like, I miss my dragon tooth amethyst. Where the fuck is it? She had it.
Well, I was cleaning some of your stuff out. She had some storage, like a suitcase full of stuff, and I went through it. And most of it went in the bin because it's clothes that don't fit her anymore. She'd never wear. But I found all the little trinkets and stuff and put them. And apparently, some of it was her crystal. Hello, everybody, by the way. Thank you all very much for joining us. So, Annabelle.
Yes.
Meghan and Harry. I genuinely believe there's going to be an announcement in the very near future. It's over. It's finished.
So, and we were talking about this briefly before we went live. Harry and Meghan are very interesting to read on. They're very, very curious because when I read for celebrities, and to be sure, like some of us take some heat in the comments. People go, "You can't read on them. You don't have permission. They didn't give you permission." And I would say, well, they're public figures. We are public figures. We have other people talking about us.
Oh boy, yeah. There is a tarot card reader who actually said, "Are Trevor and Fiona having sex?" Yes.
Good Lord.
The cards say yes. And so then later she said she does it for a joke. What an idiot.
So we were talking about having shirts made up that said I had sex with Trevor too. So
did you? So you and me both. He's got quite a harem, hasn't he?
He does. Well, he's a popular guy. But so Harry and Meg, I would never read on another content creator unless they asked me to. Like Candor asked me to do a little reading for him. Once upon a time, in a live, I had like 3 content creators that all asked for readings, and I read on them. But I would not do that. So
no, just the Harry and Meghan thing. I mean, when you do readings, do you find you get specific answers, or is it more just a general feeling?
So, well, that's the thing. Like when you pick and for lack of a better word, I'm going to say target, when you pick a subject and you are targeting on them over a period of time, a couple of different things happen. You start to get that bleed through. Like I'll be standing in the kitchen and I'll be like, oh, something just happened over there. And I always have a deck of cards on me. So like I'll throw a few cards and go, oh, that's what's happening. Britney Spears was one that, and I didn't do a lot of Britney's videos. I didn't record a lot of them, but there's some periods where she goes through, for lack of a better word, like psychosis. Like she really becomes.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and I'm not a big follower of hers, but I have noticed.
It's and that's what you start to get into. So I try to kind of take breaks from some of them sometimes. Harry and Meghan, this is my kind of broad view of them. I think she did marry him in earnest. I don't know if she really loved him. I don't know if she really recognized what love and commitment is. But I think who wouldn't want to marry a prince? Like, come on, who doesn't want to live at Windsor? I want to live at Windsor.
I'm not sure I would marry Harry.
Not Harry. I just said a prince. A prince.
Well, yeah, I know. But then how can that be love if it's just a prince, any prince? I mean, I think what misery.
Exactly. And I think that she really thought that she was going to roll up and have this fabulous life of leisure. I don't think even though they were saying, this is a job, you have to do the job. I think she was like, yeah. Like, where's my tiara? And I think once she got in there, she just couldn't manage in there. I think this is what I think happened. I think she got yelled at by somebody. I think somebody put her in her place. And that was when she said, everybody's against me. And it's really our word here. I think that's what happened. And at that point, she got kind of fixated on it. And we were talking about fixated people earlier. I think she got fixated on getting out and having a life in California. I think that was the goal all along. I think she wanted to be on vacation all along. And unfortunately, that's not the job. You're not that. Who wouldn't want to get married and be on vacation the whole time? I think that was what she was doing. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. And I get the kitty cat deck, so it's all nice and cute. So everybody feels better about this deck.
My cat
So
is
let's
currently
see
sleeping.
where she is.
We've got questions coming for you from the audience as well.
Oh, sure.
Kitty wants to know, will this drama ever stop with Harry and Meghan? I seriously doubt it. Even if, look at David and Wallace. My God, how long have they been dead? And that actually lives on, doesn't it?
It does. It does live on.
So I would have my doubts as to whether this will ever. I mean, actually, I don't mind the drama going on. If there's a divorce, I think it's going to be the divorce of the millennium.
So, all right. So starting from right now, because this is something that I explain to my clients too. There's always free will. And, the naysayers are like, oh, she's just doing a disclaimer in case there's predictions don't come true. I don't make a lot of predictions. I did know when the Pope was going to die, though. I did.
Did you?
I nailed it. I nailed the day. And I was like, dang it. So I, and I, every now and then I'll put up like a psychic score, like, yay, I got it. But what's better is like when I get a psychic score with one of my clients, or like one of the viewers. And like last night I had 2 people that said, oh, you had psychic score for this. You had psychic score for the reading you did for me, which is really nice. So, my goal in doing readings is I want people to feel better and have an alternate course of action, an alternate perspective, just like you would ask like 3 of your friends, hey, should I buy this motorcycle? Everybody's going to have a different opinion on that. So, I am just an opinion for people's lives. I can tell them you should go buy a lottery ticket at this place at this hour, and you're going to win $100 million. And if they don't do it, they can't say, oh, well, I didn't do it. I bought a lottery ticket someplace else. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to kind of do the practical practice. And also,
seriously, do you tell people what time, where, that kind of prediction?
So I am working on a skill in remote viewing for that. The lady that I studied remote viewing with is Lori Williams. She has a company called Intuitive Specialists. It's a website, intuitivespecialists with an s.com. She's actually so unassuming and so sweet. And there is a technique that you can do that. There's specializations within remote viewing. I'm very good at medical remote viewing. I'm not a doctor. I don't give medical advice, but I can kind of see.
I'll tell you something I get a lot is I get a knot in my solar plexus when someone is attacking me. It's like the ears burning thing, and it's 100% gold standard, and I get attacked a lot. But I know who it is, where it's coming from. And literally within an hour or so, it comes, and I think, well, yeah, I knew, and I've had that for years.
That's your chakra doing this,
right?
It actually like turns in the opposite direction and closes up. It's kind of I'm seeing what it does. If you got like a shungite, I think it's called shungite, that actually deflects like negativity. You could get like a pendant and just like kind of wear it, and it'll deflect that attack, and that way it's kind of like a shield on you.
Chakra. So we're talking, is this Buddhism?
No, the shungite is a crystal. It's some I don't know, technically a crystal, but it's something. But that I know it deflects your computer. I'm not an expert on crystals, like but that I can actually see what's happening. It's like kind of flipping in the wrong, like our chakras all go in a certain direction, and yours actually kind of closes up, just like if you were closing up like a I don't want to say periscope, but like a periscope, like if it looks like the aperture on a camera. It's like turning the wrong way. But yeah, so that's one of the things is that if you are in denial of your psychic ability, sometimes it kicks in physically. Like the hair that goes up on the back of your neck, somebody's following you, hair goes up on your arm. When I'm getting a really good psychic download, when I'm like really on fire, my whole arm tingles. This arm tingles, and I'm not having a heart attack. It's happened since I was 18 years old. I haven't had a heart attack yet. But let's see where Meghan is. So somebody said, is the drama going to stop? So I'm going to do two piles here. I'm going to do Harry and I'm going to do Meghan. So with Harry, is it ever going to stop? Oh my goodness. Harry's never going to quit.
That is fucking adorable.
You like her cards.
It's so cute.
How cute. It's so easy.
Oh.
We're like, oh, this is so cute. She is going to keep lighting up the fires. So, you know, Harry's looking for here's Harry. That's so cute. Harry is looking for subjugation. You know, like, and again, like, you know, I'm pulling the cards, but the other information is coming through. So Harry is looking for subjugation, literally from the king. He wants everybody.
I just have to ask, what does subjugation mean?
So, he wants everybody to bend the knee. He wants everybody to go, oh, you were so damaged and we didn't care for you. We didn't put you in egg, bubble wrap and carefully take you from place to place. He really wants the entire family to line up and confess their sins to him, when the reality is everybody just got on with their lives. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, people do lose their parents. You know, one of our friends lost both of his parents in a couple of years. And it is a loss, you know, as an adult, it's a loss, but, you know, at some point you have to, you know, put on your big boy pants and move on. I mean, I have a shamrock tattoo here, and that is in 2001, a gentleman that I was dating after I split up with my first husband was killed by a drunk driver while I was on the phone with him. And it could have derailed my whole life. You know, I took my time, but at some point you have to move on. You know, at some point you have to say, I can either live my best life or I can stay in this moment in time forever. And, you know, it's, you have to kind of make that decision. It's, you know, Greg lost his best friend during the pandemic, and that was a long haul. It was sudden, it was unexpected, and it was a long haul for all of us, you know. But at some point you have to say, okay, we're gonna honor the loss. We have an ofrenda for Chris in our house, so he's got, you know, we have all his pictures up there and everything. So Harry is, it's not even about losing his mother at this point. It's about,
I mean, I always, to come back to your psychic thing, I think everybody, you're right, everybody is psychic. And I think that's quite collective in this particular community of people who watch Meghan and Harry. I think a lot of people, well, me as a viewer, when I watch other YouTubers, I'm using my instinct, and I think other people are as well. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people watched the engagement interview and flags went up, and I didn't know exactly what it was for a long time. And I doubt other people knew exactly what it was. That I've never heard a Harry bit. That was bullshit. But
that was when that's when it clicked for me. Because when I saw her on the cover of Vanity Fair, I was like, oh, isn't she cute? Isn't she interesting? And I was like, having been with someone from the kingdom, having been with a Scottish person, you know, because we speak the same language, everybody's like, oh, you know, same. No. Despite the fact that my son's father, clearly we're broken up. Despite the fact that my son's father was in America for 6 years before I met him and was getting Americanized, cultures are very different. They're very, very different. I mean, his mom came over, and when my son was 6 months old, and she was horrified that I was nursing him. She was like, you have to get formula and go back to work. And I was like, but like, formula is so expensive. And I was like, you know, I can't go back to work yet. Like, and I literally had to take her to the groceries, because she goes, no, the government gives it to you. And I go, no, our government doesn't give it to us. And I had to do the math for her on the formula. And she goes, oh, keep doing that. I was like, okay. But she thought it was an excuse to not go back to work. You know, like that was kind of how she looked at it. She was like, get going. You know, you had your baby. He's fine. Get going. I'll watch him. But nonetheless, so, you know, it's, the cultures are so different. I immediately said, I don't know if this is going to work. Especially like East Coast culture is a little more, I think culture in New England is a little bit more palatable for people in Britain. But I mean, like we're really loud. New Jersey, we're really loud people. I'm sorry, there's some quiet people here, but most of us are really loud.
I don't know. I think I disagree because I love Americans, and I mean, we have a lot of American import TV and entertainment, and your country's very diverse. I personally think Meghan's just a bitch. It wouldn't have mattered if she was British, Spanish, French. She's just a gold digging bitch.
That I do think, because when I lived in LA, there was a lot of talk about starter marriages. I lived in California on and off for 10 years. And there was a lot of talk about starter marriages, and what you do with your starter marriage in California and in Los Angeles is you get a house and you get a steady paycheck from the alimony. So marry as young as possible.
So yeah, it's really premeditated.
It is very premeditated. So I'm not surprised if she did have a prenup with him that said, if she had a baby, she was going to get a trainer. Like there was all that hubbub about that she had an agreement, a contract with him. I would not be surprised. One of the things my ex-husband, one of his friends, was like, I can't believe you're marrying this girl because we got married so fast. And they were like, you should get a prenup. And the reality was I was worth more than he was at that time. I was like, what are you prenup for? And he was like, I don't want a prenup. This is so stupid. But there's and he was not from California. He was from the Midwest. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of get that starter marriage in there. Don't have any kids. You're not going to have any kids. And you're going to get your foundation because it's expensive. It's expensive to live there. So, so my predictions about Meghan, and I'm making a prediction.
Okay, good. I love predictions.
So I do think she's going to keep on the royal family is terrible. And I don't know right now. I don't think that's going to extend to Harry. At some point, she may turn on him. And he will become the R word. And like that he was just so institutionalized and steeped in that environment that, he was misogynistic and the R word and all of those things. And she couldn't fix it. It just came out more and more the longer they were married. I do think she is going to Seven of Cups in reverse, which is a little bit of smokescreen. I think she's going to continue to drop like those clickbaity stories. I think, and I don't think she's going to do it personally. If they divorce, she will do a big Diana divorce video, like a divorce interview. Absolutely. I don't think Oprah will do it, though. I think Oprah's going to stay a million miles away from her. I do see her in the post-divorce video with a darker haired girl. Like some gal, I should say, a reporter with darker hair. I definitely see her doing it with a woman. It's going to be like a woman to woman. But she is going to claim that he ruined her entire life, that the rest of her life, she is looking over her shoulder. She's going to say, I get daily death threats. I get this, I get that. And that is all to secure the bag. The house is very interesting. That giant house in Monteito. I did a remote view on it.
Okay, go on.
And it was right after they purchased it. It was empty. There was nothing in there.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it is a regular residence, if that makes sense. Did they purchase it? I do think that there was a purchase. I was
going to say, is there any evidence they actually ever bought it? Or is it just a smoke screen? Which I suppose I can see the sense in that. If they were fearful of their security, why not throw the press a bone and say, this is our house?
Yes.
When it isn't.
I think they may have purchased it. There was a mortgage on it. One of my friends is a real estate agent out in California. There was a mortgage
Okay,
on
we're getting tea now.
it. There was a mortgage on it, and then the mortgage got paid off. And it wasn't long after Harry got one of the lump sums of money. So that, I think the house is paid off. I think it's an investment for them in this sense. The house actually had a connection with the entertainment industry. You could lease it out for the day. You could do videos, things like that there. And I think that is what they purchased it for. I think the point of it was to do some filming there themselves, and also to let it out to other people to do filming as well. Has there been any activity there? No. My sources that are in Southern California said there really hasn't been any action there. And I haven't dipped in. When I did dip in, it was empty. There were a few statement pieces of furniture. And if you remember when Megan did the 40 by 40 video, there was that big stone table, which is absolutely fabulous in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I love the table.
That piece was there, and there was like nothing else there. Like that room had that piece in it. Now I think that room is kind of like a tasting room or a dining room. I don't think it's a salon or a living room or a sitting room or something like that. I think it was like a tasting room, not a dining room, but like a tasting room. Somebody just asked Bernie, do I think that house has bad juju? I don't think it has like idiopathic bad juju.
There is a bad history with Riven Rock. There's Catherine McCormick, wasn't it, and her husband, and he was schizophrenic or something. They were trying lots of treatments, and he ended up living at the bottom of the garden, and his mother had to watch him through binoculars because he would attack her. And it's a weird, it's the weirdest place for them to choose to buy, and that it has such a, you only have to do a very quick Google search to see it all. I'm just going to get some more water, Annabelle. I'm coming right back. It's so hot here.
I'll keep reading what I have out here. It's an amazing property, but I think the Russian guy that had lived there, the marriage wasn't good, and that kind of gets into the woodwork. So I do think that Megan is going to continue the stories. I think they're leaked. I think they're drip fed. I think, we get them from all different directions. Harry does not want any more stories out. He's trying to put an end to the stories that are leaking out. And, like this poor dumb guy, he really doesn't understand that the calls are coming from inside the house. He really doesn't understand it.
I think he does now. I think it's dawned on old dimwit quite recently. Oh,
there we go. This is him trying to start anew. This is our little fool card. How cute is he?
Do you think he's actually escaped her?
So that's a good
what I mean.
You're lucky. I haven't done like a whole lot of readings on them. So in the last,
what I mean by that is not necessarily that he's physically moved out, but I think that his first escape is to realize, because that he is the one who gives her the power. And as soon as he goes, do you know what? I've had enough of you. That's the beginning of the escape, and that is the biggest move. I think he's made that step personally from just intuition. I'd be interested to know what you think, Annabelle.
Oh, I'm all over this, Fiona.
Good.
I'm your genie. So I just developed this new tarot card spread, and it's the Yellow Brick Road spread, because whenever I read, even for terrible people, I'm like, let's find a yellow brick road. Let's find their way out of this. Like, that's what I do for my clients. I help them find ways out of interesting situations. So the Yellow Brick Road, where Harry is now, it's the King of Wands. This is fast and flighty, and also very much in control of what's going on in his world. What is his Wicked Witch of the West? 6 of Pentacles in reverse. He can't get his money out of the bank. He can't get his money out of the bank. He's got to jump through a lot of hula hoops to do that. Now, California is a community property state. It's not a good state to get divorced in. If you have means, like one of the things, like my ex-husband, he did do very well for himself, while we were married. And he worked for one of the largest management companies in Los Angeles. And when we were getting divorced, we split up because I have epilepsy, and my epilepsy is really bad. My dad was like, "Come back, let's get it sorted out." And we were going to split up, and I said, "Well, we'll file for divorce here." And every divorce attorney I talked to was like, "Oh, no, he owes you millions of dollars." And I was like, "No, we're just splitting up because I'm sick. Like, he already gave me the house. Like, I'm just gonna go on my merry way." And they were like, "You're an idiot. Like, you really need to be pointed in the right direction."
I heard that community property, they have to have been together. The couple has to have been together for a certain amount of time. Is that true or not?
Yes, it's, I believe, 12 years.
Well, you see, they haven't been together for that long, have they?
But if you have kids, it kind of,
well, that in itself raises
there.
Other questions, doesn't it?
We'll talk about those kids in a minute. I did a remote view on them too. So what are his ruby slippers? Death card, transformation. Everybody's always worried about the death card. Everybody always gets freaked out. For anybody who's, uninformed or ill-informed by all the movies.
Yeah, it's a new beginning. The death of his nightmare.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's transformation. We will get death sometimes for births because it's an unstoppable transformation. I always say time and tide wait for no man. With the death card, that's really what we're looking at there. So who is his ally? Who is his tin man, his good reference point? It doesn't look like he's got a lot. No one trusts him. I think, I do think
I think he has a girlfriend. I forget her name now, but she's involved with a kind of an amputee charity. With the charity make prosthetic limbs, very futuristic. And now he's going back to Halo. Isn't that interesting? With landmines. She's blonde. She's very attractive. And I think that she's kind of been propping him up a bit. That's just my guess. I'm full of shit.
I get him very alone because he's just like kind of sitting, wringing his hands. He is angry all the time. And that's one of the reasons why it's hard for a reader like me, because I actually kind of get the emotions and everything. He feels right now empowered. However, he feels, and it's like emotionally like, oh, I'm going to do something. But he doesn't have a lot of power. That's kind of the thing. And he doesn't have anybody working with him. So I think Skippy is going to be someone who talks some sense into him.
Skippy lives in America, doesn't he?
Does he? I don't know if he does.
I think he got married and he actually relocated to the States.
I think he is the key to getting Harry to understand that this marriage is not what it should be. That this abandoning your family. Besides, Brooklyn Beckham's taking the, disgruntled son role now. So, move on. So I don't think that he has a lot of friends and a lot of support right now. This is the detour to avoid. This is the poppy field. So 2 of Wands in reverse. He doesn't know where to go. And the pathway is really there for him. I know King Charles is not taking his calls. I know there's a lot of hoops that are put between him and his father. But there are some magic words. And one of them is, this sucks. I want to come home. I can't manage this situation. And, people that go into 12-step programs, I was just talking about this last night. 12-step programs, the first step is admitting that you have no power and control over the situation, over the substance, whatever it is. Harry needs to admit that he has no power over the situation. He's really, everyone talks about how they've been cut off and she carries them in her handbag. And truth be told, she has castrated him and put those cojones.
Unless he can say, it would be kind of an interesting conversation to be a fly on the wall the day that he says to her, or he may have said to her, do you know what? I'm sick of your shit. Stop telling me what to do. I've had it with you. I actually had a relationship a bit like that. I ended up with this guy. He's actually the reason that I went on the run. I took the blame for him, and I knew he was trouble. And the reason that I never kicked off on him and he felt he always got his own way was because I just thought anything for a quiet life. And so it emboldened him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I wasn't like Harry, where I was in love, and I was just letting him do this, thinking I'm biding my time to let him get away from this guy.
Yeah,
and the day that I actually said to him, "Get lost," his face, his whole persona changed. He went from being full of himself, bossy, sometimes not violent, but he could shove me around. He went from that to like tiny, just watching the power sucked out of him. And then he realized that I'd never really been under his thumb. I'd been just literally sitting there and tolerating it. So I would love to see Harry do that to her.
I have to be careful about how I say this. Some people, and we're talking about whether he has a girlfriend or not. I don't think that he does. I think that if he is keen on her, she's like, yeah, no thanks. Harry is the kind of guy who needs a retinue around him. He needs courtiers around him. He doesn't have any. They are all her people. They are all invested in what she says. They are all instructed by her first. I bet any amount of money. So, Charles Manson. Now we're going to jump over to Charles Manson. Charles Manson, he would have those nights where everybody would, take substances and get out of their mind and go crazy.
Okay.
He would always take less than everybody else. So he would be a bit more in control.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm not a Manson, a big man. I've never really looked into him. I think Faith has.
Yeah, I was very fascinated. I'm fascinated by cult leaders like Jim.
He was really controlled the whole psyche of the group.
Yeah, it's true crime. I'm surprised you weren't into it.
Yeah.
Well, I've looked into it, Faith, but I've never really looked into the drugs that they took and stuff like that.
Everything under the sun.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, buffet.
I know about the Sharon Tate murder and all of that, obviously. They found him, and he was such a little guy, they found him hiding in a dressing table. But it is interesting that he clearly managed to, I don't know, cast a spell over them or
I think something similar to this is going on.
Do you think that, right, this is a big question. Do you think it's possible? I don't know how to phrase this. Some people have suggested that Meghan Markle and her mother have been into voodoo and black magic. Now, I know voodoo is actually a religion. It's not, like a bad thing. I don't know so much about black magic or nefarious reasons behind it. Have you picked up? Can you check with your cards? Do you pick up on anything like that?
So I've done this. I can give you the reporting on it. I think that Doria is what would be described as a spiritual person.
Yeah.
I don't think that she is into like really dark stuff, like, taking animals off the earth plane or things like that. I don't think there's a voodoo. I have a lot of respect for voodoo. Voodoo is
so it's
a practice that I don't want to have anything to do with. But I do think that she's a spiritual person. I think she is in those kinds of circles. I think that Meghan is actually. I think she reads. I think she reads cards. I think. I do. She knows a little too much. She drops it in interviews. I'm like, oh, what? I heard that. She did it with the. She said, "Oh, well, what sign are you?" And I think she does.
Do you know what? Now you say it.
Yeah,
I can imagine it.
I think she does some interesting things. Now, the whole thing at the Platinum Jubilee. She was overheard saying, "I spoke with your mom," to Harry. I spoke with your mom this morning. That I think Gregopedia just entered the room. He is wearing a shirt. He's wearing a shirt.
If you saw my.
Well, to be fair, it was
One
only
has
his,
her on one of the troll channels right now.
it was only his shoulders. You know, it's not like they could see his. Honestly, these trolls, they are obsessed with sex, nudity, and dead people. I think they're necrophiliacs.
It truly is so bizarre. But Megan's obsessed with dead people too.
Well, now you come to mention it, I'd forgotten. Of course, she's saying, "Oh, my mom told me to tell you. Oh, I'm going to lay on your mom's grave." Of course, she's going to be in. I bet she does Ouija. Do you think she does Ouija?
She may. She probably did when she was younger. I mean, the smartest of us will stay away from that kind of
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it when I was younger.
So have I.
Yeah. Same here. I bet if she is using Ouija, it certainly wasn't Diana telling her that.
So
if it was Diana, she'd say fuck off.
Yeah, if it was Diana, she'd say, "Get the fuck away from my son."
Yeah, she may well have some ability to converse with the other side. That's okay. But you don't do that to people. You don't say, "I spoke with your loved one." Can I tell the Chris story?
Sure, go ahead.
So Greg's best friend that passed away is a big guy named Chris. Funny as all get out, was here all the time. Uncle to my kids. He, we would do Taco Tuesdays and he'd show up in a sombrero, Irish guy, would show up in a sombrero, a poncho with a bottle of tequila and a bunch of Modelo's in the other hand. It was so much fun. My kids adore him. So Chris passed away unexpectedly from COVID. And, there's all kinds of other things that went on around that. But him and his widow had both tested positive for COVID. And so she was, it was 2020. So it was, the height of it. She was quarantined at home by herself, which was awful. We were just dropping food off and like talking on the phone through the window because we couldn't go near her. And she wasn't sick. She was just positive. So everybody went to Chris's brother's house. And then another contingency of friends came to our house. We broke all the rules. And everybody sensed Chris in the room. He was there. He was there with us. He was hanging out. There was a spot on our lanai that Greg and Chris would smoke cigars. And I was like, he's right out there. He is right outside. And everybody said it. So, weeks went by. We had the funeral, blah, 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 blah. And Greg, we're struggling with it. We were all struggling with it. It was a very hard loss for our police family, for our friend group, for our family personally.
He also had the indecency to die on the day of the sergeant.
Oh, he died on the day of the sergeant's test. So the whole department is taking an advancement exam, and Chris died that morning. We found out he passed away at 4 a.m. and the test was at 8. So it was like, it was just the whole world was upside down. So Greg admits to me weeks later, he goes,
Months.
Was it months?
Yeah, it was months.
It was months later. He goes, I never felt him here. And I go, oh my God, are you kidding me? I go, everybody felt him here. How could that be? He goes, I never felt him. I said, ask him to come pay a visit. Like, just ask him and he'll show up. So I was still working my corporate job at the time. And Greg would come to bed at 5 a.m. after he got home from work. And then I would get up at 5 a.m. and go make my coffee. And so I'd drink my coffee in bed and he'd fall asleep. So he starts snoring and I go, okay, I'm going to get up and get coffee. So I go out and I had a Keurig. So I just hit the button, it's like, what's it take? 3 minutes? Make my coffee, black coffee like a psychopath, bring it into the bedroom. And I open the door and Greg's sitting up holding his chest. And I'm sorry, he was sobbing. And his father had a heart attack around the same age. So like my first thing, I'm like, oh my God, are you having a heart attack? Like, are you okay? Like, what do we need to do? And I go, oh my God, what's happening? And he goes, Chris was just here. And so the psychic in me goes, oh, goody. And I sit down on the bed and I go, okay. I go, was it a dream or was he really here? And he goes, it wasn't a dream. And I said, all right, did you talk to him? And he goes, yes. I asked him why he died and he just smiled at me. And he said he looked really good. He had on like a black outfit, like a black uniform. He goes, he was wearing a beret and there was like this light behind him. And I go, okay, well, did anything else happen? And he said, what was the next thing he said? He asked him why he died and he just smiled. And then,
This is something else. He said,
why are you wearing the beret?
Yeah.
He said,
Why
why
are
are
you
you wearing a beret? And Chris started laughing and he goes, it's just what we wear
What do we
here.
wear up here?
And then you said something else.
No.
Oh, did you get any cool ghost powers?
Yeah.
And he started laughing. And I walked through the door and he dissipated like smoke. And so like that's like the series of events.
Wow.
And so I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like you had like a full body apparition. Since then, Chris visits our house all the time. And we have these mason jars, these canning jars, and you know how they have the vacuum seal on the top. We have a lot of them in the refrigerator. I use them for, you know, storing food. I have them in the laundry room or pantry, and we also have them down here. He dings on them all the time. Now, everybody would be like, okay, you know, it's like heat, like they're expanding and contracting, whatever. They pop when we open the refrigerator. Even if they're not popped, you know, like if they're already popped, like they'll make the noise. So we figured out that it was Chris. Greg was putting in our dishwasher and he was having a time with it, and he was cursing, he was cutting his hands up, and the canning jars that we had in the room, there's about 15 pings on it. I was standing right there. It was like bing, 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 bing. It just was very unusual. And he goes, God damn it. He goes, Chris is laughing at me. But then we had his brother over, and I was teaching Greg and Chris's brother how to do remote viewing because I thought it would be beneficial for their particular profession. And Mike had said, Chris's brother, I'm sorry, I dropped Mike's name. He had said to me, you know, I don't know, he's the only one left in his family now. His parents had passed away, his brothers passed away. He has a half sister, but you know, he's like, why am I the only one left? And I said, well, let me give you a reading. We'll see what we come up with. And so I started doing the reading, and he said, you know, I just wish my brother would give me a sign. And I said, well, he did. He was making all that noise in your basement and you yelled at him right after he passed away. And he was like, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah, but I just want to sign. And we have this fruit bowl. It's a hand-blown glass fruit bowl.
There were other things that
that
triggered it. Like not only did he ask, I want to sign, he asked it 3 times.
Yes. So we have this fruit bowl in the middle, and it had apples and oranges in it. We were comparing apples and oranges. And Chris had this thing, you had to ask him something 3 times before he would answer you.
Okay.
So Mike had said on the 3rd time, I just want to sign. And we're sitting there, and the apple rolled up and over the orange in the fruit bowl.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, Mike is really funny. Mike goes, what the F was that? The effing fruit moved. What the F was that? And I was like,
wow.
Happens like that all the time over here. And so Chris knew one American Sign Language sign, and it was apple. And so Greg relayed that. He goes, right. Apple. He knew apple. He did apple for us. So, you know, like I do believe that perhaps she could contact Harry's mother, Diana, the late Princess.
I don't believe she's been in touch with Diana, because I agree with Faith that Diana would have done anything she could to stop this woman.
I don't think they would have married if Diana was around.
No, definitely not. Definitely
not. You know, I don't condone people relaying messages like that.
Yeah, it's very manipulative, don't you think? Especially when the guy is so sensitive about it.
Yeah, it's not okay. You know, it's if someone asks me, can you contact my dear Aunt Tilly? Can you do this? Can you? No, we have some very good friends. They're both doctors, and they lost a very young child. She was just under 2 after a few months after our wedding. And the dad, our male friend, I won't drop their names, called me up, and he, you know, he goes, hey, can I talk to you about mediums? And I was like, oh God, don't ask me. I was like, I'm not, I can't do that for you. And he goes, no. He goes, in the grief group we're in a children's grief group, bereavement group. And he said, all of us have been contacted by mediums at some time or the other that have asked, have said your child wants me to reach out and they want to contact you. They have a message for you, and I'll relay that message for $5,000. And he goes, "How do they find out about us?" And I said, dude, they look in the obits, and then they basically stalk you. They may have been in the group at some point. So, there people that are doing that. It's like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost, like,
Yeah.
Sam, I got a message from Sam, like no one's doing that. Like, I have a quite large section of the curriculum that I have for the tarot and psychic students that come to me, and ethics are a real thing. And, a lot of them do question, like, how do you get around the ethics in a public forum? Like, you have a YouTube channel and you're reading on celebrities, and say at the beginning, they're public persons. I can speculate, just, giving my opinion, like Barney does on his show. He has opinions about all kinds of things. Candor has all kinds of opinions about the things on his channel.
I love Candor's channel. I love his channel. I found myself when I was in the UK, because he does so many lives, tuning in it's like a radio show.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with everything that he says, but he's stimulating, like one of those kind of chat shows, and he's thought provoking, and he won't just blatantly agree with someone just to keep the peace. Far from it. I mean, he's a straight talking gay guy with sharp claws.
Yeah. And I think that that's super refreshing. We're transitioning. I love Candor. I think Candor was the channel we all needed, but we didn't quite realize we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he is a tremendous contributor to our community. I mean, he's not a Meg's channel. I'm not a Meg's channel. You're not a Meg's channel, technically.
Well, I mean, I am. Yeah, I talk about pretty much nothing except Meghan and Harry. I'm probably going to do a live later on my channel. You're giving me all kinds of ideas.
Rowing stuff. I have to tell you, your rowing videos are so relaxing and peaceful and wonderful. It's really great. I actually, when we were planning on doing this, I was like, I gotta get on a boat someplace, or
I've been trying to row this thing, but it has no hull, and I've got to get some stick-on fins. So when I try rowing, it just goes in circles. It doesn't go anywhere. So that's a slight technical fault. But getting back to Candor's channel, another thing I love is that he has people up who I've never seen or heard before, but I've seen the username in the comments.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you can either put a voice to the name or a face and a voice. And it's really interesting because when you hear them speak, it's very different to reading text. You get their voice inflection and their personality. And there are many members of the community have been expressing their thoughts and opinions, not on the Megxit community as a whole. And I think it's wonderful that he's there to give them a voice. And I see that the trolls don't like him. They want him arrested and they want him shut down. Anyway, that's another subject.
Well, Fiona, you and I are both free speech absolutists. I don't think that anybody should be muzzled. If people want to say, and some may say that I'm splitting hairs on this, I think if someone has an opinion, if they think that, I suck, my channel sucks, my content sucks, that's fine. You can say that. But I do think that there needs to be some etiquette on here. We need to conduct ourselves as we would in polite society. And I think Lady C is the one to kind of set the etiquette book for us. I know
that's why I really wanted you on a live, because I've listened to you and you have very strong opinions, but you put them across in a very diplomatic and ladylike way. And I saw how Bernie, I think, is in love with you. Was it called Bernie? Barney. And I mean, obviously he got really passionate that day. It was something he really believed in. And the way you handled it was just superb. It was supreme. And you actually are so intelligent. You can see Barney as a lovely, charming person. That's a rare quality, because there are a lot of YouTubers, if somebody dares go, oh, excuse me, I'm not sure I agree with your theory. Right, That's it. I'm doing 10 videos about you questioning me.
Honestly,
You know, and there are some thin-skinned motherfuckers out there on the tubes, don't you
oh,
think?
are we cursing? Can I curse?
Oh, hell yeah. Go for it. Fuck it.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
So, you know, Barney, I know that he was really heated in that moment, and I didn't want his channel to be damaged by that, because it only takes like one bad move and you could blow up your channel. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen people ruin their channels, and you know, I didn't want that for him, because I did go and watch his content. So when he showed up back on Candors, I was like, no, come up here. Let's, you know, we'll have a treaty. And he is very bright, and he is very interesting, and his show is growing. So I'm very pleased about that. I gave him some insight into how I do things. I'm going to pick his brain on TikTok, because I'm not really on TikTok. But apparently I should be. So somebody said, when's the tarot start? It's happening. It's happening right now.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there have been questions. So tarot cards. Does Megan use black magic and cast spells on people?
So I don't think that she uses black magic. It may be a little gray or a little dingy. I
better
do
jet black magic.
So I think she is a follower of The Secret, and I don't have my copy of it. I just recently read The Secret. I think
I know exactly what you're talking about. I have that book. Mother has it. She's not read it though.
Oh, so did you hear Megan in one of the interviews say thank you?
I do not watch Megan.
Oh,
if I have, I would know. I would have.
So does she do black magic? I've got the moon, which is psychic ability, hidden stuff. Yeah, hidden stuff. Judgment. I think her judgment is a little bit sketchy, because she does come to it with an emotional quality. 4 of Cups here. Look at how cute that little kitty cat is. I don't think that her efforts always yield. Now, some would say, well, she manifested a prince. I think that was more practical action than it was magical action. I think she really kind of lined him up and connected the dots. Corey Vitiello was her prince at one point. That was the guy that she was going to hitch her cart to. And then she kind of stumbled into the whole royal circle, and she said, well, this is one louder.
Yes.
She went to 11. So I don't think that she practices black magic. What I think she does is, I think she does manifest. And when you're manifesting, you have to manifest for the greater good. So if I was going to manifest winning the lottery, I would include my husband and my children in that. I wouldn't say, well, you know, I just want the lottery for myself. Like, you have to kind of uplift everybody. You have to kind of craft out the plan of like how you're going to give back, how you're going to be grateful. And I think the covetousness of her is what gets in the way of it purely being a vibrational raising. She always looks and sees what others have. She's horribly jealous of Catherine. And I think she throws a lot of, you know, like curses. Like, I think she like can't stand her, and all that negativity that she throws at her, I think is, I think that unfortunately is something we're never going to see go away. I think she is always going to, Megan was one of those gals that no matter what room she walked into, she would beep, 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 that one right there. I don't like her. Make her ass. I don't like her.
Yeah.
You know, she's one of those gals. We saw it at the Inskip wedding when Harry was talking with that girl, and he had daggers going. Like, that woman probably had menstrual cramps the rest of the day.
Yeah, some people can walk into a room and light it up, and I think Megan sucks the life out of the room. Oh, my camera. That just did that all by itself. That's spooky. It's not that stable. It's just resting. That was kind of weird.
None of us are stable.
Graham and I had this thing actually before he died. One of the last videos we did together, the camera was moving by itself.
I
Remember
saw that.
And it moved a considerable distance, and that was really weird.
I saw that.
What about that video where the camera was moving?
In fact, I think it was you that phoned me up, Faith. And
Yeah,
said,
I said to you, why were you playing with it with your foot, with the camera stand? And you went, I wasn't.
Nowhere near our feet. It was on the coffee table. The cat was not near it. That was really
yeah. Because if you watch it in regular speed, you wouldn't have clocked it. But if you go from the beginning and then just skip to the end, you can see it visibly.
Yeah, and you can see the stages of the until you can see more of the mantelpiece. It's crazy. I mean, I've never seen that before. And Graham always said he would never haunt. He said, I won't do anything like that, because he was scared of ghosts. He didn't like ghost films. Yeah, he didn't like ghost films. He didn't like any of that kind of stuff. My mother lived in the Outer Hebrides, and there was a huge argument. It kind of split the island in half. At the Stornoway airport, there were two guys who hated each other. I mean, they were really well-known enemies. And one of them was a pilot, and I think the other was air traffic control. And the guy who was a pilot had been away for several weeks or a month or two. And while he was gone, the guy from ATC died. Well, this pilot came back about 2 weeks after the guy had died, and he had no idea he died. And he passed him on the apron.
Oh.
And he was solid. And he said something to him, and the guy ignored him, went straight past him. And he said, well, that's just fucking typical of you. And he went into the bar and he said, I've just seen Angus. And he talk about an ignorant twat. Wouldn't even say hello. And half the island were on his side and the other half were on the other guy's side. They said, that's so disrespectful. He died. He got his thumb caught in a safe, and he got an infection and sepsis. That's how he died. So half the family and the island were like, this is disgraceful that he would pretend he'd seen a dead guy on the apron, who, by the way, they hated each other. And the other half of the island were like, a few of us have had a similar experience. But I mean, apparently the guy was solid.
That can happen.
Yeah.
There's a hotel in Asbury Park, New Jersey here, the home of Stone Pony and Bruce Springsteen. And it's right across from, what is the name of that venue that's right across the street, Greg? The Convention Center. And it's really old. The Convention Center is super, super old. It goes back to the late 1800s. And the hotel across the street is profoundly haunted. And all of the rock bands that would play either at the Stone Pony or at the Convention Center would stay there. And so there was this one event where I was there with some friends, and we were going to visit some people that were playing, and went into the elevator, and there was a girl. There was a lot of, substance abusers in that town. And there was a girl that was standing there in the elevator with her head down. And she was dressed in a like white flowy shirt, and like nobody really noticed what her pants were. And everybody got out of the elevator and turned around, and she was gone. But she was, yeah, they thought she was like somebody who was just like all partied out or something like that. So I pulled some cards on Megan now.
Okay, let's get back to Megan.
So this is, again, like where she is right now. So her yellow brick road, the road that she's on, is the Five of Pentacles. She does not have, so the Five of Pentacles is actually a really cool card in the traditional Rider-Waite. The people that are in it, those of you that are familiar with tarot, I'll see if I can find the original. The people that are in it, there's a sect, a religious sect called the Mendicants. And what the Mendicants would do is they would give up all of their creature comforts, all of their money, and that would be, it's a very aesthetic life, or a period of time, an aesthetic period of time in their life, where they would get closer to God by getting rid of all of their wealth and their riches, right, and things like that. They're not cast out. They are not, they're not, cast out from society or the world that they live in. There they are. There's our Mendicants.
Hermit community, yeah?
Yeah, they're all sad outside the church. They're actually going into the church.
Right.
That's the image here. They are coming out of the cold into that warmth of the church, back into the bosom of God. So this is in reverse. That tells me that our girl, Megsy here, is having some trouble.
Oh my God, you fucking scared the shit out of me. We're talking about ghosts and crap like that. You couldn't message first.
Why would he?
I'm sorry, Fiona, I didn't see that coming.
Oh my God, he does this. They both do this to me. My daughter does it to me as
said
well.
hello
It's
as I
not
Will
came.
you go and
my
change
fault.
your t-shirt, please?
She gets scared over the
Martha.
littlest things. I walk into the room and she'll scream her head off. I'm like, I just exist.
Oh, Faith, I'm like that.
No, you creep up on me. You both do. You
All
creep
I do
up
is walk.
silently. Talk about ghosts. I mean, 1 minute
Get some
she's not
hearing
there.
aids then.
I'll open it. It's like those horror films. I'll open a cupboard in the kitchen, and when I close it, she's there, and I'm like, and the jar smashes. And
Hey, I've had, I have had my own ghostly experiences. Okay, I am not one of them.
you might as well be. The way you both move, and Ben is just as bad. You know, he couldn't say hello from the pontoon. Hi, Mum. He's got to creep up onto the boat and just go, woof.
Mum, he has really heavy footsteps. The fact that you
Well,
couldn't hear
clearly
them.
he's tiptoeing, doing it on purpose. Anyway,
No, the
sorry.
fact that you couldn't hear
Annabelle,
them. Is,
carry on. Carry on. So,
Okay, Ben scared the crap out of all of us.
It didn't scare the crap out of me.
So Megan cannot find her people, cannot
I love
find
that
her. Everything is very temporary. So like when we talk about, in the original Rider-Waite deck, there's a lot of Freemasonry. There's a lot of Christian symbols. There's Judaism symbols in it too. There's Egyptian stuff. But when we talk about those religious institutions, that's like a tent pole in your life. That is where historically where you would learn, where you would get your morals from. So she doesn't really have that resource, like when in trouble, run to your religious people. She doesn't have that. So challenges and obstacles, the moon, the things that are hidden, it's the things that she doesn't know that the royal family know. So she has a lot of question marks about what kind of information. Hi, Ben.
Hello. What are we talking about today?
you can bend down. Be careful of the camera because it's not actually fixed. This is Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Hi, Ben.
She's a tarot card reader, and she's doing a reading on Meghan Markle and Harry.
I'm also here.
That's your sister.
Right.
Yeah,
Remind
the
me
better
what
of us.
tarot card reading is.
What's that?
Remind me what tarot card reading is.
Oh, Ben, you're going to have to go all the way back to the beginning.
It's when I tell you that your future is
It's a
darker.
72 card pack. It has pictures on it. There are 4 sets like in normal cards, and it's like not fortune telling. It's what's the better word, Annabelle? Insight.
Divination.
Divination.
Yes.
It's like you're using your intuition, and it.
Can somebody tell me what divination means?
So Ben, here, this is like a great example. I am very gifted at figuring out the motives and means of people around you. So say you had a big crazy job and you were going for a promotion. The job listing, like this is actually a true story. Somebody had reached out to me and they said, hey, there's this new job that opened up at work. I really want to put my hat in the ring for it. What do you think? And so I started doing the reading on it. And I'm like, well, listen, everybody likes you. All of the decision makers on this like you. But there's a guy in the department. They've created this job for him. This job is not for you. It's a fake. It's not really. They just have to do that for legal reasons. So sure enough, I described the guy. I got a couple of initials for the name. And she was like, oh, that is. I know who that is. And I said, I go apply for the job, see what happens. And so she said she went through like an interview process, but sure enough, he wound up and no one knew that he was going to get that job. He hadn't said a word, but they had created this position for him. So, but I basically I told her, well, this one likes you and this one likes you, and maybe you'll be able to advance this way through another means. So, so that's kind of what I can do. I can give different perspective on a potential situation. You know, most people ask me about romance, jobs. I work with a lot of real estate agents.
Do you have any questions?
I take it you're very humble as well.
Oh, wait, really? Are you being serious?
Well, you said, you know, you're very good at what you do. So you're very humble as well.
Nobody honks your horn unless you do, Ben.
Do you have any questions?
What, like any questions that you can answer with the tarot reading?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
Is the Gibraltar border going to officially open in October when they say it will, or is there going to be another delay?
I think there'll be another delay. You know it.
Don't,
You
don't,
know it.
Well,
Hang
let's see if Miss Tarot card.
Do you know
reader
what?
can-
I was working it out with someone the other day, or I might have been talking to myself actually, and it was the border was closed for 15 years. And but that's nothing. And then the last 40 years, everybody's life has been made hell by the border. It's actually almost been worse since it's been opened than before when it was closed. I talked to people from the days when it was closed.
No, it was closed.
Oh, Ben,
it was completely closed when it was closed. You had to go to Morocco and then go to Morocco to Spain.
Do you and your sister not remember queuing for so long to get home after school? We'd go to Eroski for dinner. Do you remember that, Faith?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was in the height of August. There were people, elderly and children, just keeling over, needed water from St. John's ambulance. And there were thousands of people in the queue. It was like something out of the Great Depression, queuing for a soup kitchen every day. So Graham just said, do you know what? We're not queuing with the sheep. We're going to go and there's a roof terrace at Eroski. We can watch the queue. And the queue wouldn't go until 9 o'clock. And they were kids and they had to get home, do homework. And so.
Well, wait, do you want to answer about the Gibraltar?
Yeah.
They're on schedule.
They're on schedule.
It's going to happen on schedule. Right now, it's on schedule.
Yeah, give it about 5 minutes and it'll be off schedule.
So have you just shuffled through the cards for the right answer?
Yes.
She picks the ones that call out to her.
So
yes.
that seems a little bit biased, don't you think?
No, she's using her intuition as well.
Yeah, she's got them.
All the same card, but then she will give her interpretation.
Yeah, she's
Someone's
not
asked
looking.
a question. You've got a load of answers in a bunch of cards, and you've gone, maybe, no. Yes,
No,
yes,
she's not looking at the pictures. She's got the back side of the cards up, so she can't actually see them until she turns them over. Right. Although you wouldn't know that.
And then they're not yes, no, or maybe answers.
But there are cards that do that.
Right. I thought that you meant you'd just gone through looking for the right picture to show me to make me feel good.
So Ben, when I started reading, tarot is very pictorial. So you can see there's all these crazy images on it. When I started,
you've lost his attention. This is what happens to me, Annabelle.
He ran away.
You listening?
So, I would read whatever my eye landed on. So like there's meanings for all of the images in here, like the grapes are abundance and growth and fertility and good things. The castle in the background is protection, being in a high area. If you hit on the tower, being up and above, getting an view.
In that picture particularly, what aspect stands out to you?
It looks like a prison bars with a castle.
Oh, I see.
So Alcatraz.
So he interprets that as a prison.
That's first thing I see is Alcatraz.
So you were reading the tarot. I mean, I'm not quite sure how you.
No. Look. That is literally okay. I'll tell you what that is. I'm going to become a tarot card reader. President Trump has decided to reopen Alcatraz for the worst of the worst prisoners. Okay, the bars represent the prison. The Castillo is Alcatraz itself, and above that is a mistletoe showing it's going to open in Christmas.
Is it men and women in prison as well? Because there's a man and a lady.
I didn't see the people. Oh, there are people there.
Yes, a man and a lady. That's interesting that you didn't even see the people.
Boy, this is blurry. No, I'll tell you what that is. It's not a man and a lady. It's two men. The other one identifies as a lady because they're bonkers and they've gone to Alcatraz. That's why they've gone there.
Okay.
Ben,
Ben,
Not a bloke's wearing a dress.
dude, go be with your girlfriend.
I just want to point out that I did not. Braden's also logged into our account. He's just gone and said, "Ben, go away and build us another box."
I saw that.
Hey, Faith, have you still got the photographs of Ben in a fairy dress?
I
The
do.
dress.
I do. If
Yeah.
you give me a moment, I can pull them off on the
Have you got a
visitation.
flamenco dress for me to put on now?
If
I've
you
got
go,
her wedding dress is
Okay.
down
yeah, go on.
Hola, me llamo Maria. ¿Cómo estás?
so Ben, this image is actually a chuppah. It's a wedding chuppah.
Wedding.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that you called it a prison.
Braden's asking if you're
Part
actually
of
going
that
to put wedding
represents
dress on.
wedding.
But in the Jewish tradition, you get married under a chuppah, and they make them out
What
of
if you're not
flour.
Jewish?
What's that?
Braden's already tried it on and it fits him.
What if you're not Jewish?
But then you don't have to have a chuppah.
Oh, I see.
Go get changed.
So-
somewhere else.
No, it's fair enough.
Yeah, it's just the symbolism. It's you don't read.
Yeah, no, dude,
What?
you're gonna rip it.
Oh, is that not all the way?
No, look,
Oh, I didn't fucking know, did I?
you're ruining my life.
Am I ruining the live, people?
Yeah,
Ugh.
you're ruining my life by existing.
Trolls are gonna get a picture of this. Yeah, Braden tried it on apparently, and it fitted him
No, he
perfectly.
Yeah, but
didn't.
Braden's also like non-existent. I'm fucking broad.
It's like you're gonna get past your hips. It's not.
No, it's because I've got so
You
much stuff in
didn't
my
try it
pants. Hold
on,
on.
you fucking liar.
Hold on.
But when he was about, I don't know, 8 or 9, Faith had a red flamenco dress with black dots.
That too.
And I think she'd been naughty or something,
Ugh.
having a tantrum. So he put it on for a laugh. And she got a picture. She was like grease lightning with a camera. Oh, Ben. Why don't you go and
There we go.
somewhere else?
And then,
Look, stand back, my camera.
hold on. Oh, I think I might break that.
Stand back so everybody can see.
Hold on. Hello, my name's Susan. I identify as a woman, and don't you dare misgender me.
You need to put the wig
Well,
on, mate.
I'll get you.
Put the
Well,
wig on him.
The
Away.
trolls have another clip.
Yeah,
La-di-da-di-da.
go away.
Trump's going to send me to Alcatraz,
Go away.
as said in the tarot card.
You're not going out.
Go be with
You want me to get
Martha.
lost, do you? Like when I went to Savinius?
Just go away. I mean it, Ben.
I'll go on a walk to Lidl, get lost,
Goodbye. Anyway, as you were saying,
as you were
So,
saying.
so I do think that Megan's first step forward, her ruby slippers, or I should say her next step forward, is I think she is going to dial back maybe for the rest of the summer. I think she's got her back against the wall, and not in a bad way, like not like that anyone's cornered her. But I think she's like, okay, I've done enough. I think she's going to take a break for August a little bit. Bless you.
do you think the house is going to land on her with just the feet sticking out?
I think that is her magician, Queen of Wands. I think that's the plan. I think she wants to keep the house and have maintenance because God forbid. And here's the thing. So I've said this a million times, and everybody in bless you, everybody in Britain and every expat, every British expat has said you can't sue the royal family. She's going to try
Do you
to
think
extract
so?
money from them. Absolutely. Because
I wonder.
I had always said that Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth, had a plan B for Harry. And the plan B was going to be to let him drop all, let his bank accounts go to zero. And then they could send MI6, extract him, get him out, and then take care of business from there. Have the divorce filed in Britain, work out the custody of the kids, do what they have to do, have a nanny installed there that was going to, keep an eye on whatnot. And that way he would be broke. There wouldn't be any money to
Yeah.
give. And so they would grace him with an allowance that he could.
Exactly. That's what I think will probably end up happening. Yes.
So I think she will go one further. I think if it's up to King Charles, I think King Charles will let her have the house and will create some kind of trust fund or something for her etiquette. I think that's what'll happen. If he stays with her until William's in, he's done for.
You don't think William will tuck him away with an allowance? You think he'll just literally let him?
I think King Charles has been trying to convince him to have mercy. You know, the end of the Braveheart movie. Say mercy, William. Say mercy. I don't think King Charles can convince him yet, and I don't think there's a lot of time left to convince him. Let's put it that way. So if William gets in there, and I think maybe that's what's got these peace talks. I do think they were initiated by Harry and Meghan. Harry specifically, I think the peace talk was initiated. But I think there's, please let me come home. I think William is so angry at him that William doesn't want him at his father's funeral. That's how angry he is. And I think they will get very bespoke treatment at that funeral. Let's put it that way. So I don't know if they're going to have.
When the Queen was alive, Harry was always, I love my grandmother, and he didn't have a jot of time for his father. As soon as his father becomes king, I love my father. You wait, when it's William, I love my brother, that's what will happen. But the cretin can't figure out it's a line of succession. Try not to piss the next one in line off.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of the deposed princes, between World War I, World War II, or actually, around World War I. We had all those European deposed princes that were kind of tra-la-laing and fopping around all of Europe and staying with other royal families and that kind of thing. And I think he really thought his life would be like that. He would be feted wherever he went. And people in America, I think they would have been warmer to him if he didn't have a pushy wife. If he had because she was not in the she wasn't sitting at the cool kids table in LA. She wasn't there. And I think she told him, people are going to love us. They're going to want us at their tables. We're going to have fabulous parties. And the guy never paid a cell phone bill. He had no idea what was going to come in. I
think they were kicked out. I honestly think they were kicked out.
Yeah, the moment she said parties, he probably only heard the word drugs.
Yes. We're
going to have lots of parties, lots of drugs.
Yeah. I do think that was a big bit of the bait, because here, marijuana was legal in California way before everybody else in the country. And everybody here from the East Coast, I'm going to go out to California. I'm going to have a stony life, it's going to be great, dude, let's go. Present company included. That's why I moved to California. They have great weather and they had great weed. And I went out there and I had a great time. I have no shame in saying that. I think that was part of the bait. You're so stressed out now here in this castle with 1 million guards and, you're so stressed out here. But if we just get you out of this awful, awful environment and we just get to California, you'll be able to manage yourself. But the fact is that, too much of anything is too much, you could do too much shopping. You could do too much gaming. You could do too much weed, there's a point where you have to say, who is the master and who is the slave? So I think that he was tempted with that because it was going to be a mood stabilizing thing that he could do legally that wasn't a pharmaceutical. And I don't think that she understood or cared or recognized that some people have addictive personalities, and one
I thought
hobo
she
is not
knew.
enough.
I think she knew. I mean, I remember seeing that apparently palace sources had leaked that he'd stopped taking his medication,
I heard
and
that.
that she had arranged for alternative medicine and light and sound baths.
So I do have an opinion about red light therapy. I think red light therapy is really interesting.
Is that a
And
light and sound bath?
I sound bathe my house, but I also clean it.
Right.
Mother,
Okay.
I bet you won't go swimming.
Yeah.
Some chat
So
you will, but I bet you won't.
I had my great grandfather dated this woman, Helen May. She was absolutely adorable. And she was a Jesus Christ scientist member of that church. It's not Scientology, but they don't go to medical doctors. They pray to God to make their maladies go away. And poor Helen May got an abscess in her tooth, and she was praying to God for it to go away, and she got meningitis and she died.
Really?
Oh dear. Is it just?
There we go. Is it my turn? Am I going to get through?
I don't know. You froze a little there.
She's still frozen on my side.
Same here.
Am I frozen?
Well, you're back, but it's very blurry.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's getting better now.
You guys are great to me.
The spirit probably farted on camera.
So I always tell my clients, like, you know, you can do all the energetic work, but you still have, like, you can't just wish for a job and it's going to show up. You have to still apply to jobs and clean up your resume and go on the interviews. Like, you know, you really do have to, like, still do the work. So, I don't know how we got there. I lost my train of thought.
Smudging? What's smudging? Amy Jones has said, what do you think of smudging?
That's when you burn sage or you burn incense, something like that.
I did that once and you hated it. And then I use my incense and she still hates it, which is why I have like years worth of incense in a box.
No, it's the mess that it makes. It's not the smell.
It's in a box. It doesn't make any mess.
The thing that people always mistake, like when we bought this house and 3 times a year, at the turn of the seasons, we always do a fire pit outside and I throw one of these suckers in there. I walk around the yard and then throw the whole thing in. This will take like an hour to burn. You're technically only supposed to take off one little flake and then light that up, and it does kind of clear things up. I have there's another part of my LLC. So I'm Fortune Cookies Tarot LLC, that, you know, is my reading and teaching business. And then there's another part of it that my girlfriend Shelly is in charge of. She has not, you know, moved it forward full bore because she's got little kids, but it's called Charming Homes LLC. And so what that does is that's like little fun spells that you can do, you know, practices, spells that you can do to kind of raise the invitingness of your house, or, you know, kind of close the doors so people don't come, you know, so people don't like show up. There's all kinds of cool energetics that you can do in your house, but it all starts with like cleaning your house. And some people go really big on this. Like they'll only use natural cleaners. They'll only use vinegar and lemon juice. I use, you know, Lysol, like a lemon scented cleaner, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we clean the whole house, and then we do a sound bath with the crystal sound bowls, and then we burn a little incense. I burn incense every day. We have an altar for Greg's mom on the mantelpiece of our fireplace, and so we always light some incense and do some offerings to her. You know, we have a lovely picture of her there. But you know, I like smudging. I typically smudge my decks after I get them when they're brand new, and I just run them through the smoke, whether it's incense or if I'm burning like a whole thing of sage or Palo Santo. That's a wood that we burn. It smells really good. I like that. I like the smell of that one. So I keep leaving Megan alone. So what is her?
Right. What do you think that her as ever is going to continue to exist or end?
No, it's done.
Yeah, we don't even need tarot cards for that, do we? I mean, it's the TV show's bombed.
The TV show is going to get very interesting. We're going to see some interesting energetic play on the TV show. So she has Amber Heard on in the next season. You know that, right?
Of all people.
Yeah. You don't pick Amber Heard to come on your show if you don't want people to have a very strong opinion about it.
Maybe everyone else said no, and Amber went, yeah, finally someone else.
No, you don't pick Amber Heard unless you want to be disliked even more.
Yeah. And Amber Heard brings a lot of weird energy with her.
Yeah.
I think Johnny Depp is a weird dude. I think he's an amazing actor. I think he's adorable. I had a fangirl moment. I met him when I was in LA, and it was like a really awkward moment because he was like this close to me. And he was on the other side. We had two booths that were together, and my ex-husband, I was looking at the menu and he nudged me and I go, what? And he goes, Johnny Depp. And I go, oh, where? And he was right here. And I was like, oh my God. And he smiled at me and like raised one eyebrow. And I was like, this table's not big enough for me to get under it. We were at Barney's Beanery in Los Angeles. It's kind of like the closest thing we could get to a diner in on the East Coast. And yeah, it was I was a mortifying moment.
That's funny.
And then one of the guys that we were with owns a drum company and was like chit-chatting with him, and it just was the most awkward breakfast ever. And then I didn't want to eat. I was like, I'm not eating anything. So embarrassed. But yeah, I think the people that she picked to go on this second season, which it was, we know it wasn't a second season. I think that they energetically do something very strange. Now, I heard she had, and somebody just put it in the chat, I heard Gavin Newsom is supposed to be on.
Is that serious? Gavin Newsom is going to go on it?
There was a whole rumor about him wanting to film at his house, and she was like, no, I don't want to do it. I think when she was putting that together, I think she was still hopeful that there was an outlet for her in politics.
Yeah, I always found that laughable. No chance. That was never, ever, ever going to happen. And so many people were worried about it. I mean, my mum was a politician. I knew it was an absolute joke. It was never going to happen. Never.
Yeah. It's, that was an easy job for her. I think she also thought that acting was an easy job where you could make a lot of money. Honestly, like, no job is easy, if you take it seriously. So like even my dad, my dad was like, oh, my dad always talks about finances with me and how you doing. And so he's looking at my receipts and, we were talking about what my net was. And, he's like, you're doing really well. Like, this is really great. And he said, and you're doing it in half the time that you worked at your corporate job. And I was like, oh no, no, this is a full-time job. Like, I wake up in the morning and I work very late, so it's funny what people think, you edit your videos. I don't edit my videos, but I do a lot of other stuff in the back room. And, the 15-minute video that we do, actually, for me, a 15-minute video takes about 2.5 hours to do.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I set up all the copy for it and doing the thumbnails and doing the research, because one of the things that I'm doing more. This was one of my changes that I made this year. Instead of just doing the reading cold, I bring in some of the facts, some resources, and I say, well, this is what's going on. This is what we know.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot more historical readings. So, giving people some historical information. I did one on Fatty Arbuckle last week, and I have a group remote view that's happening this afternoon or this evening that I'm going to have some people come in, and we'll do it online, and I'm just going to walk them through the night and see what they come up with. So I'm letting some of my viewers get an opportunity to be a little bit psychic. So it's I lost my train of thought again. Oh, Eclipse is saying, I love Dragon's Blood. Dragon's blood is a very energetic, powerful kind of.
I've heard my daughter talk about that, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite scents, but it's a very powerful one that kind of energizes the house to do something. So if you have an intention that you want to set, like dragon's blood is really good. Plain sage is like kind of cleaning out.
Right.
Nag champa is my go-to. That's my daily burn in the house. I love a nag champa. But I just bought frankincense. I went to one of my cousins did his first Holy Communion, and I smelled the frankincense in the Catholic Church, and I was like, I miss the sense of this frankincense. I'm going to get some. So all right, so this was very interesting. That came up for Megan. Things that she needs to avoid is dragon or the.
Is that a female?
That what's up?
Is that a female?
So the devil energy is because it is Baphomet in the picture. So it's kind of goes either way. But the devil card, it is about grabbing onto the things that you think are good for you, but are not necessarily. So doubling down, the clapbacks, like I think her warning, stay away from the clapback, stop clapping back, even if it is in a subtle way. So the end of this, her Emerald City, where does she wind up? Empress in reverse. So Fiona, you're going to love this. The Empress is our mother card. If the Empress is in reverse, that means she does not have the children with her.
Okay. Yeah, I could see Harry, because I do believe there are children. How they came to be, I don't know, but I do believe there are.
I believe they're children too.
I believe that Harry will do anything to keep them, but she won't. You know, there's a price.
That's the thing. Is that there is a price. And I don't ever, being a mother, being a wife and a mother is my favorite thing. Greg said it on Candor, is like, if Anna could cook all day long, she would. Taking care of my house, just kind of sorting everyone. I would do that all day long. That would, perfect world, won the lottery. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be, rolling around the world. My channel would go black, like that would be the end of me. I'd just be cooking all day long. I'd set up a 24-hour life.
Quite different. I tried to sell my two, but I couldn't get any buyers for them.
Is that a fact? Is that one of the rumors that you tried to sell your children?
No, seriously. And they both moved out, but they both keep coming back.
Well,
no comment from Faith, or she's gone to the toilet.
I think with boomerang children or something like that.
Boomerang children?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. It's like bad economy. It's bad world economy. They keep coming back. I think, if you get married to somebody and you don't have children with them, do you have any connection with them? Do you have any obligation to them? No, you don't. My ex-husband and I, we have nothing to do with each other. We're both going about our lives. But when you have children with someone there, and there's a premium in this situation because of where Harry came from. I do think she was shocked that he wasn't a billionaire. I think she was shocked when she found out.
He's never going to get rid of her, and neither of the royal family, because there are children, so there is a connection, whether she gave birth or not. And I don't think she did, because that lumpy bump twerking thing, that's what did it for me. And I think a lot of people on planet Earth looked at that and thought, what's going on there?
I think the twerking video was just made. I don't think it was made.
Really? You think it's recent?
I think it's a recent video. I immediately
think that Harry could have been AI in that.
I don't know. It's weird. Not psychically looking at it, but looking at him, it was weird. And he had why would he have the hood on inside? Like what are you doing? There's a thing about
Your
hoods.
husband.
What's that? What's he saying?
So I said a lot of people on planet Earth saw that twerking thing. I didn't believe it. And he said a lot of people not on planet Earth too.
I did, in fact, go to the bathroom. What was that?
I knew it because you always answer me back.
Well, I did say to Braden, if they ask me a question, just respond to them, and clearly he didn't.
Nothing. You missed it now. You'll have to watch it on playback.
Well, what is it?
And don't forget to like and
You
subscribe.
go on about free speech. And not
Nothing. I
hindering
just said I tried to sell you guys when you were little.
Yeah, I tried to do that to you as well. No, I'm gonna take you because you're dark skinned.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's not so funny when the joke's the other way, is it?
No. Well, that was like 10 minutes ago. You've been in the
It wasn't
toilet.
10 minutes
Moved
ago.
on since there to
I
another.
have literally been in the bathroom for 25 seconds.
Well, that's your problem. You should have been here.
Get off my channel. Go on, move to your channel.
Can I say, Faith?
Yeah, you can.
So, Faith, what do you think of those kids? Do you think she has kids?
I don't know. At this point, I'm convinced she just keeps getting a mannequin.
I know that there is efforts in Los Angeles with celebrities that they will wear a moon bump, conceal the pregnancy. Princess Grace, she famously did it with the Birkin bag, hid her pregnancy.
Yeah.
The Kardashians hid their pregnancies with bags. Like it's kind of, the red flag, like, hey, I am pregnant here. And I know that in order to get people off the scent of the due date, they will employ those moon bumps. And also all kinds of stories. So I think she did have padding. I think when she was on the Australian tour, she was just excited to be. Remember when you were pregnant the first time, and you were like, "When is my stomach going to pop out? When am I going to look pregnant? I feel pregnant. When am I going to look pregnant?" And I think she was arching her back and sticking her belly out to.
Oh, guys, I forgot that I can click on comments and highlight them. I'm so sorry. I could have done this the whole time. I'm so used to being on other people's lives. Right. Rosebud says, I agree with Ems on Tea and Therapy that Archie was born in England from an affair. Well, that may be or may not be the case. The thing is, it's a mystery everybody's trying to unpick. Me personally, I feel Meghan told Harry she was pregnant in order to rush the wedding and then went, oh, I've had a miscarriage.
Yes.
That's what I think happened.
Yes.
But that's not to say I'm right or wrong or Ems is wrong on that one or any other theory.
Well, here's the thing. So think about it. They had to derail Eugenie's plan to get married. They had to change the date and they had to get them in there. So I did some research on it and I looked at the dates, and she would have been about 4 or 5 months pregnant at the time of the wedding had she told him, I am pregnant. So technically, she could have fit in that dress. I think that's why the dress was loose. I think they were loose because she was supposed to be pregnant. But who doesn't want to drink at their wedding? Greg and I, we got married here at the house, and our wedding was at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who doesn't want to drink at their wedding? So I think that was something that she pulled. And the gate crashing, I think she did tell him at Skippy's wedding too, because he looked.
Are you feeding the fish?
We were.
Do you want some bread?
You have more bread?
I have more bread here.
He is the new bread thrower.
He is
Gracie
the new
Miranda. Which part was Fiona right? Gracie Miranda said, you're right, Fiona. I've had visions about this born psychic empath.
Right, where's the got it.
So I want to know which part she.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Yeah, give her a moment to
Do we
respond.
have any other psychics in the house? I didn't think to ask that at the beginning.
I saw one. I saw one in here. I saw one that I know.
I wouldn't consider myself one.
You're quite psychic, Faith. You lean that way.
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider myself one. It just happens when it happens.
Yeah, neither did Greg until I tested his ability.
By all means, test
Huh?
me.
I had that out of body experience.
That's an outer body experience, but it wasn't, you weren't divining anything. You just saw
I
yourself.
freaked out when I had a, what's it called? Astral projection. I did it once, didn't even know what it was. Freaked the fuck out, thought I was dead.
Yeah, a lot of
And then
people.
dad came up the stairs saying, "Oh, 7 Ben, time for school." And that's when I went, "Oh, I'm alive." Okay, I just didn't speak about it.
So Gracie Marin. So all right. So I did a remote view on both kids. I can't remember what I said about Archie at all, but I actually found the location of where the second one was, and it was in San Francisco, all the way. And everyone was saying Harry kept going back and forth to San Francisco, and it was in an older home that was up in like kind of a poshy area. There was a posher house up top. Their house was probably really posh when in the early 90s, I think was kind of the age limit I had on it. But she was there with a woman. And I think that woman was actually the birth mother. And I think that they were tucked away and hidden up there.
I remember it wasn't a blind item. It was someone on Quora or Reddit, one of those unusual social medias, said before Lily was born, they said that they worked for Meghan and that the baby had arrived and she was livid because it had blue eyes, pure white skin and red hair. Now I read that thing and I just thought that's probably bullshit because she's so dark skinned and she has dark hair and her genes are going to be more powerful than Harry's. But then now I see Lily is that exact description. So I now wonder about that person that put the post on Reddit, because of course you get all kinds of disgruntled members of staff who do go on social media and they do tip people off. That's possible, Rosebud. I have heard that the hysterectomy, I mean, if that came out she had a hysterectomy, that would make things very awkward for her.
I don't think she had a hysterectomy. I don't think she did, because like everyone's saying that it was what am I trying to say? An optional surgery. But I just don't think anybody would do that. I don't think she would do that. I think that would be too much of a sacrifice of her womanhood, and like
for medical reasons,
unless she did the temporary operation where they tie the tubes, because I think you can reverse that.
Yes.
She might have done that with the first husband, knowing she didn't want kids with that one, and then secretly had it reversed for Harry.
That's a very distinct possibility. What throws me off is how full her face was when they presented the first baby.
Yeah, but people said she could have taken tablets to create that.
And when they did the Oprah interview, her face looked different. And
yes, yeah.
That says to me that, I think they were throwing people off the dates. Perhaps she didn't use her eggs. Perhaps she used someone else's. I see Renee said prednisone. I actually had a steroid injection. I've had big moon face for like 2 weeks and everything's swollen. So yeah, prednisone is the devil.
Yeah, can you imagine if we wind the clock back and she had, to get the ring on her finger, she'd said to Harry, "I'm pregnant." It's a shotgun wedding. It may have rushed the wedding more. And then imagine if the late monarch discovered that she had a hysterectomy or something. Whoa, she would have looked at her straight away and thought, well, then you're a knockdown liar.
Well, that makes sense why the Queen would say, "I suppose I have to," when she gave Harry permission. So let's see.
Yes, I hadn't thought about that.
What did Harry say to the Queen when he asked permission?
he said they went on a hunt, and he'd been waiting all day to get the Queen on her own. And then he pulled her to one side and said he would like to ask Meghan to marry him. And she paused, and then she said, well, I suppose I will have to agree to it. Yeah, you're right. He did say that in his book. He did.
He said there's no way out of this. There's only one solution. There's not a yes or a no. You can only give us one answer. This problem isn't going away. And boom, Ace of Pentacles. That's a baby implanted. That's what he told her.
Right.
That's what he told her. Did the Queen know better?
Well, I mean, if I know MI6 and MI5, of course, can find out just about anything.
Yeah.
That they need to, but medical records, even for them, must be a little trickier, and it might have taken a bit longer.
The Queen, hang on. The Queen knew that was wrong and knew that this was going to be a nightmare. She knew that they were going to be stuck with her. That's that pickle face the poor Queen had at that wedding.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone look more miserable at a wedding.
Yeah, she had a big frowny face, didn't she?
She did. Pickle
Somebody
face.
get me my cocaine. I can't look at Meghan any longer. Not while sober.
I don't think that the Queen took those sorts of drugs, Faith.
It was a joke. It
I
was
know,
a joke.
but I think Meghan and Harry do, probably most likely, take all kinds of weird and wonderful drugs. Yeah, I mean, all MI5 and MI6 can do is gather information. Yeah, Rhonda. But I don't know how long it would take them for medical records. I don't know I mean, maybe they have extreme powers and they can find out anything. But can you imagine if they found out later, made inquiries and said she could never have been pregnant because she had a hysterectomy? Can you imagine how the Queen would have?
Susan coming through.
Did he say Susan is passing through?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, is that a fact?
I didn't know that. That was at the wedding, was it?
Huh. So what are we going to find out about Meghan Markle? What are we going to find out? William becomes king.
Yeah. How's he gonna deal with her?
What does the morning brooch look like?
I don't know. I'll have to look that one up.
Because I'm looking at one right now on the day of the wedding. It's like one big pearl looking thing surrounded by what looks like a sun, and then two sort of metal swirls either side.
Susan passing back through.
Susan needs to put his fucking wig back on.
Hello, Susan.
Well, the one I'm seeing, it has a lot of pearls on it, and
Yeah.
kind of
And it's got like
Yeah.
two swishing on either side, like metal pieces.
yes, it's quite
Yeah.
large actually, because
It
the
is
Queen
really
was tiny.
Well, then, yeah, she was definitely wearing it on the wedding day because I'm looking at the pictures.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the significance of it.
Her yellow coat looks green.
Oh yes, I've got it here, and Queen Victoria's mourning jewelry, and she can have it with a little pearl hanging as well, which she didn't on the day. The monarch of mourning made memorial jewelry fashionable. Oh, these adverts on these websites.
Refill the water tank on the boat from the outside, so you have to stick it to the window.
Yes, it's diamond and pearl. Oh, that is interesting. So she wore that on the day of the wedding. That is an interesting choice.
Cindy said in the chat that she wore the Richmond brooch to the wedding. So
Maybe just look up a picture of the Richmond brooch.
Yes, it is
Some
known
of
as
it
the
looks similar.
Known as the Richmond brooch. The chrysanthemum-shaped piece originally belonged to her grandmother, Queen Mary. According to the Express, the symbolic jewellery was gifted to Mary as a wedding present in 1893 by the town of Richmond, where her family lived for 2 decades, and she wore it on her honeymoon. Queen Elizabeth has worn it to many formal engagements over the years with Prince Philip, including military remembrance events to honour people who have lived a life of service, much like her late husband. The brooch featured a centre pearl, drop pearl, which is detachable. So she didn't wear the drop pearl on at the wedding, but it can be worn with a drop pearl. Interesting. Oh, has Annabelle turned her mic? Oh, she's turned her.
I did. I was just talking to Greg because Greg thinks.
Well, I guess we should probably wrap this up because we've just ticked over 2 hours. So
has it
been I know. Time flies. This has been fascinating.
So, well, I will leave you with this. When William becomes king, the Empress, the mother, is going to be identified. And we're going to have some interesting details about the father of those children.
Oh.
And there recently was a rumor that these were eggs that were fertilized already, pre-fertilized. So, I wonder what's going to happen.
I didn't know that was possible. Do you know, I saw a video with some Japanese, I think they were Japanese or Chinese students, where they got their eggs, chicken eggs, and they put the yolk and stuff in a glass and they injected it with chicken sperm and they put it in an incubator and obviously little chicks.
Huh.
Yeah, but I didn't know you could have human ready mix.
So years ago, one of my girlfriends, when I was in my 20s, got cancer, and her boyfriend at the time had said, let's freeze your eggs. And they did not have the technology to freeze her eggs at that time, but they said we can freeze embryos. And he was like, let's do this. And she was like, I don't want to do this because, I don't think I'm going to make it. And she unfortunately did not make it and did not do that. So, Clumple's here. So yeah, Fiona, this was fun. Thank you. I so much appreciate this. I have so much respect for you. I think that you are grace and spice all wrapped up in one. I think what you're doing on the boat is amazing. And I told you,
I haven't really done much lately. That's really kind of you, Annabelle.
It doesn't matter if you didn't do anything lately. You've got like massive projects going on there. I think it's amazing what you're doing. I absolutely, I think your family is wonderful. And I am one of your fans. I have your back no matter what. You ever come to America, you've got a place with us. We'll take you out. We'll squire you around town. We're doing it with Dave Murphy. Dave Murphy's coming over in February.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to go up to the city. We're going to go see him. I know Trevor was going to make a trip over, and I told him, I said, if you're coming in, we're going to take you out on the town and buy you more than a few dozen pints.
Just to wrap it up, so everybody knows that you have a channel and you are Fortune Cookies Tarot, and the lady who was is also a psychic, Gracie Miranda, has said, Annabelle, may I contact you and pass on my info? I don't have a channel.
Yes.
So she can find you. Everybody can find you. Fortune Cookies Tarot, or I found you by just Annabelle Tarot. You show up, and there's
I've really kind of done the SEO work in the back room. I've noticed that. But my email is fortunecookiestarot at Gmail. So anybody can email me. That's
and also I'd like to give a big shout out for Candor the Enigma, because we all occasionally go up and chat to him, but he also has some of you guys. So he just drops the link in the comments. And any of you guys that want to go up, you can click the link and you're in the green room. And then when there's a space, he brings people up to talk about whatever the issue of the day is. And everybody, a free platform. He's a free speech absolutist, so you can disagree with him all you like. Just brace yourself to get bitten.
Just bring your facts. Like if you're gonna come in with a strong opinion, bring your facts. Like that's my thing. Like, you know, you can come in and say, I don't believe in tarot cards, I don't believe in what you do, I don't believe that, you know, whatever, but bring some facts to the table and have a discussion. Like that's what separates people that are truly intelligent and interesting from people that are just screaming, you know, at the sky. Like, you know, evolve a little bit. Come to the table with some good stuff.
Exactly. Free speech is not about agreeing with each other.
Exactly.
Quite often it's the reverse, isn't it? Thank you very, very much, Annabelle. It's been delightful to have you on.
I thank you too, Fiona. Hopefully we'll get you over to the United States, or maybe Greg and I will show up in Gibraltar. We'll be like, hi, we're here.
We'll have to do this again, but maybe if we do it as a regular thing, people can have questions ready to go.
Yeah, we could do like a little advanced planning. I try and do like at least one live a week where I take questions from people. But tonight, like I said, I've got a couple of events going on tonight that are private off YouTube. So there's links on my channel if anybody's interested in that. They can come along and have like a little bit of a fun time with us off YouTube. But I thank you. I thank Lady Faith for having me on. You guys are I'm big fan of you guys, and I have a lot of respect for what you do, and I think the world of you. I think you're really fantastic.
Thank you. And thank you, Faith, for coming along. I know you haven't said much. She's quite quiet.
It's not the fact that I'm quite quiet, it's the fact that you yap so much.
Oh, I do too. So
that's all right. I couldn't get a word in.
Well, on that note, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you so much. It wouldn't be the same without all of you guys there. Oh, Clumple, I have been blocked by Candor. Quite surprising. Whoa, since I don't.
There's something going on. Candor.
Right. Hello, Clumple. I haven't seen you before. Candor, would you be able to check that one? Because that may well be a mistake.
Candor from sea to land. He's always in demand. It's Candor.
I mean, Candor does block people who, I don't block anybody. Really, I don't think I've ever blocked anybody. I'm not quite sure how. I think you do it when someone's in the chat. So anyway, thank you all very, very much. Good night, and may your God go with you.